Hi, everybody. How are you? And today you can hear our new jingle, which is quite catchy. We thought we were going to bring a little bit more of upbeat sound so that when you're joining us, you know that you are joining the Wired for Success um, podcast. So everything is trial and error. So if you feel like this music is too upbeat, or if you want to give us a bit of feedback on the music you want us to change, you want something more rocky or more soul or more pop, let us know. We're open for feedback. All right. So today we are here, as usual, my colleague Steve Costello and myself, Patience Modevi, for the Wired for Success show. Today we talking about managing holidays. So managing holidays, yeah, go on, Steve.
Surely managing holidays is easy.
It's really easy. I don't think it is, but you know what? There's some ease to it, and there's also some challenges to
Or
it.
is it?
And I think today is amazing because we are coming here and we're gonna give you some tips, but also a little bit of more of awareness. So what we want to focus on today is this idea of how do we manage each individual's needs into the summer holidays and in general holidays.
Well, we we seem to be having some technical challenges right now because patience, your words are coming occasionally and not in groups. So, fortunately, I know what you're talking about. So let's um, let's think
Yeah.
about managing holidays. Why would we need to manage the holidays? What is the point? Surely that's a crazy thing to do. Can't we just kick off our shoes and lay back and relax?
Mm,
That would be nice. It would be
it
pretty
will.
cool to be able to do that, but it's not a reality.
Yes.
People with with you right now, which is kind of quite amusing. So I live in a really beautiful village on the edge of the Pyrenees, and in our village we've got a big lake, and there's a swimming area. It's got sand on the beach, imported sand. It's not natural, but it's really cool. It's got sand on the beach. There's some food trucks, just a couple, not lots. And there's a big bar stroke cafe. So it's really is down there. To go down there right now, if I could take you out on my GoPro and just show you around, you would see lots of people in holiday mode, which is
Yeah.
quite cool or not. Actually, not if you live here, because you pop out for something, or you go and walk the dog, or you pass by on your mountain. People on holiday, and you're going about your normal day to day non holiday business. So it can be quite frustrating to see all of this going on around us. So, how do we
It's true.
manage the holidays and still feel okay about having to do our day-to-day stuff and find time for holidays as well? We can't be away for the 6, 7, or 8 weeks of the holidays. It's almost 3 months actually for my daughter here in France. We can't be away some of it, but how do we manage the rest? What sort of things do we need to be thinking about? What sort of things do we need to be doing? Well, Patience mentioned in our last episode that everybody needs space. I need space,
Yeah.
patients need space, our kids need space. So that's a starting point. Everybody needs space.
Mm,
So let's enable everybody to have some space to do the things that matter to them. So, Patience, I don't know whether you're hearing everything I'm saying. My video keeps going on and off. It's
Yeah,
flickering quite a lot.
we can hear you. We
I
can
hope
hear.
you can hear me.
We
You
can.
can. Great. So the
Yeah.
question is, what can we do to enable everybody to have their space and to manage our time effectively so we're not wasting it away? Because
Yeah.
that's so easy to do, isn't it? I mentioned to patients a few minutes ago something about my sons when they were 16, 17 years of age. And what did they do during the summer holidays? They stayed up until 2 in the morning, didn't want to get up until 2 in the afternoon, which meant they didn't go to bed again until 2 in the morning, and they were completely out of sync with the rest of the household. And that wasn't cool, not really. And they were different people, they lived differently, they weren't themselves, they weren't the two boys that I know and love. They were a little bit more kind of sloppy in what they were doing. They weren't that bothered. They were spending a lot of time on online apps, internet,
Yes.
watching movies late at night, so on and so forth. So was that
Mm,
necessarily all good? They need their space, but not every day, not all day, not during the night when everybody else is sleeping. You know,
that's
that's
right.
something that challenges us. And there is research that tells us that adolescents actually need about 12 hours sleep.
Sleep.
Interesting. So what do we
Yeah.
make of that, patients?
Yeah. I agree. And if I can reckon, speaking to a mother recently who has also three boys like me, and she was already getting upset after a few days of holidays of seeing her sons on the computer constantly or playing games constantly, not even thinking of going outside, not even thinking of, the bigger world out there, and only thinking of, I will go to sleep, I'll get up, have some food, and then go on and take the game console or the computer. And she was already you know, if I can, I want to say it really in a polite way, where she was already tearing her hair out. And it was only a couple of days into the holiday. But at the same time, um, as I understand that, I still believe that young people need that time on that computer. They need that time on this game console. It's just a matter of percentages or the amount of time you're going to spend doing one activity or the other. The reason why I say that is because, first of all, we have to live with our world, the world we live in. The world we live in is a digital world. Whether we want it or not, it is what it is. It's gonna happen like that. But also, it is a way sometimes for people to escape when they are. For example, I'm going to talk to you about my son. My son is into manga and everything about mangas and this Japanese manga artist, and he draws. So for him, when he goes on the computer, he's actually looking for inspiration, and he's taking the inspiration, and then he spends all his time drawing and creating his own cartoons or his own mangas. So for me, this is actually an attribute to his creativity. It's not something that I would see as a downfall. However, where it becomes a downfall is if, as soon as you wake up, you think computer and you're on the computer the whole day. That cannot happen. And I think that's where, as parents, we have to jump in and say, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But to come back onto the what can we do in terms of awareness, I think it's also understanding where everybody's at. So, if you've been following us for a while, you will know that we always talk before we come onto during these recordings or the lives is that we always talk about the subject before. And as we were mentioning with Steve earlier, is that everybody is different. Everybody has to, like, for example, the sleep. You need the sleep. So you should be allowed to be sleeping. But at the same time, you want the connection with your children. So you should also be able to have that connection as parents. So how do we come into this kind of like osmos where everybody's got a bit of everything that they need, if we can say it like that, is where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think asking questions is a good way to find out what people need, what people want. Simply saying, what would you like to do this next week?
Yeah.
Give me some ideas. Give me three things you would
Mhm.
really like to do. Now, okay, a trip to New York for the weekend might not come off, but other things
Yes.
might be great ideas. So let's see what we can
We
fit in. But the thing is, I get to answer the question too. So does patience. So that enables our young people to see that everybody else has needs. They may not be the same. They may need some thinking about. They may be challenging, but everybody has needs and everybody has the right to have them. We sometimes play the game here. What do you want to do? And some of the ideas get a bit crazy and sometimes very expensive as well, So, but asking simple questions. What do you want? It's great that your son is interested in the manga stuff. My daughter too is interested in that. So there's an idea. Is there a club? Is there a group? Is there an online Facebook group where
yes.
kids want to talk manga? Where kids want to
Mm,
design their own characters and so on? I know very little about it, so I'm not the guy to ask. But I know that if I ask my daughter, she's got a lot of the answers.
yeah.
So asking questions is a great way to find out what people need and what people want. Difference
Yeah.
between needs and wants. Remember, they're not the same. So, but that's not something to cover here and now. So managing the holidays needs to involve everybody.
Yeah.
We all need to be part of it. Is it not tiring if we have to manage everything?
Thing.
Come on,
Mm-hmm.
kids, get dressed. Okay, you wear your boots, you wear your trainers, you wear your jeans, you'll have to wear shorts, you wear the red top, you wear the white top, whatever we may need to.
Yeah.
But we want to be managing the summer together because if everybody's invested, the whole thing becomes one more interesting, a little bit more exciting, and fun for everybody. So that's a
That's
simple
right.
recipe for management.
That's right. Yeah,
So
I agree.
I like to
And
think
also,
about it
and also,
from that point of view rather than the parent.
yeah, I agree. And also another thing as well is to incorporate. So incorporate a level of like. So we spoke about that in a previous episode, but a degree of flexibility is really important in managing holidays. There's anything that is forced will be difficult. So that doesn't mean that you there won't be any forced activities, because some activities will not be something that someone wants to do. Somebody else is more inclined into going to museum or art galleries, when someone is going to say, oh, that's boring, I don't want to go. But it's doing something that everybody can can find a little bit of what is their interest in. And another thing as well into managing the holidays is that at the end of the day, when you are on holiday as a parent, which often and especially in the the time that we live in now is not the same as it was before. So when I was a child, my parents will be on holiday for basically the whole holidays. So the whole holidays, as in 8 weeks, I grew up in France, so that would be like 2 months for holiday. Everyone is on holiday for a good, at least a good 5 or 4 weeks of out of the 6 weeks. Now, with the way the work environment is, with the remote working, with all of these things that come now, as a parent, you are also disconnected from your child. So I believe that the holidays is also a way to find back that connection, or to build upon the connection that you can have with your children, which means not being the one to direct,
Yeah.
but being the one maybe to follow. Okay, Steve, I don't know if you're still here.
I'm still here, but I'm not hearing very much. So
Yes. Okay.
it's a little bit challenging.
Are we having a bit of a technical issues today? Okay. So
You seem to be.
yeah. So but if you talk, I mean when you talk, we can hear you fine. It seems to be fine on your side
Okay.
when you are talking. Yeah.
Okay. Let's just explore. So we're talking about managing the holidays. The
Yes.
reality is that, unlike your parents' patients, is that
Mm.
most parents have got to work during the holidays. It would be nice, I think, if you asked parents whether they would like to have the summer off. I think 100% would say absolutely yes, please.
Yeah.
Let's take the summer off with the children. Let's have a great time. But that's not the reality. The
Mm.
economy wants us to stay at work. The
Yeah.
owners of the businesses need us to stay at work so that they can compete in the marketplace, etc., etc. There's loads of justifications. Doesn't matter whether we agree with them or not. So one of the things that many people do, particularly here in France, to manage the holiday period, is that the kids go to the grandparents for a couple of weeks,
Mm.
not for the whole holiday, just for a couple of weeks. And what are they getting when they go to the grandparents? They're probably being spoilt. For one, I
Yeah.
know that's true in some cases where young people have told me. They're not only being spoiled, but they're getting a different perspective. They're getting a different perspective on
Mm.
everything. And a different perspective is good for all of us. It's good to see. So if we can give our kids the opportunity to be somewhere else for a couple of weeks, that's a good thing. I would err on caution about finishing school and going immediately to the care of somebody else because they need a little bit of breathing space. They need a little bit of time out. I appreciate that that's not always a reality, but sometimes it's useful. More often than not, it's useful. We hear people talk about summer camps. Oh, I hate summer camps. I don't want to go on summer camps. And for some young people, it really is a big challenge. It's a big deal. They don't want to go on summer camps because they're introverts. They're not extroverts. They don't want to be in a crowd for 2 weeks with people they don't really know. So we need to think carefully about the sorts of opportunities we're offering to our kids. We're not just picking something at random because we think it's a good thing or because we've got to find a form of childcare for a couple of weeks because we've got to work. So we need to be
Mm.
really careful about that. We need to manage that with sensitivity. And to do that, we need to listen. Now, I appreciate that that can be difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's something that we have to consider. So, what else do we have, patience, managing the holidays?
Managing the holidays is also managing the finances. I know that we are not I know that we are not finance
We seem to have
guides or finance advisors, but it's also is also managing the budget. And I think with that, something that is excellent, an excellent exercise that you can do is create a budget with your teens so that they are also in charge of the budget. And now it becomes not only, is no longer just your responsibility as a parent, but it's also a responsibility as a teenager who is like, okay, so we've got this amount of money, we need to be able to budget for this amount of time. How are we going to do? And I think it's great because not only they're learning to use money, they're learning to understand the dynamics of money within the family, because it's something that you will do together, so it's not something that they will do by themselves, but they're also understanding where you're coming from. And then also I think it brings, again, as Steve was saying before, it brings another perspective into understanding, oh, so when I'm doing this, or when we go to the shop and I want to buy the whole Carrefour for Steve, or the whole Tesco here in England, I can't do it because there's a budget. And now, not only you are giving them responsibility, you're also opening them up to understand how to budget for themselves, how to do the finances. So if you are giving pocket money, if they have to go on outings, if they're going out with friends, if they're going to, I don't know, fast food, or even if they are going to activities, cinemas, etc., it's a great way for them to go like, you know what, I'm taking charge. So I think he helps in managing the holidays because he helps in evening the responsibilities. So that's one thing as well.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic exercise. And just to add a little bit more detail, the way that I've done this in the past, I've done it with my own children, but with other groups of young people as well, is to work out what it actually costs to live for a week. So we need to include food, electricity, whatever. So we need to be very careful about what it costs to live for a week, that amount, and tell them that for the next week they've got that amount. But be mean and don't tell them that it's got to cover food, electricity, gas, water, so on and so forth. And allow them to enjoy the fun of spending the money.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to do it with them. So you're not going to let them buy a new TV or anything like that. So that the what we need, because we're not taught that stuff. We might be taught that we need to be aware of how much money we've got, that we need to pay for our electricity and our council taxes and so on. But we're not really given the responsibility of doing it. So to give the responsibility, but hold their hand whilst they do it, is a great way. I remember a group, this is quite a funny story. So there was two groups of young people. One group of young people bought a lot of what I would call luxuries. They bought beer, ice cream, wine, loads of great stuff, but it didn't feed them for a week.
Yeah.
The other group even remembered that some of the girls had a period during that week and they would need to buy sanitary towels. Brilliant. And the other group said, why are they buying sanitary towels? Because it's a reality. They may need them. Oh, okay. So they hadn't thought about that simple need to spend a little bit of money for themselves. We don't all live in Scotland where apparently they're free today. So thinking about those things and getting our young people to think about those things really helps with managing the holidays, because it'll help them to realize that if we go on holiday to the beach, even for the day, and buy 6 ice creams, it's going to be a lot more expensive than buying 6 ice creams from Lidl or
Yeah,
wherever you shop. So
that's right.
I think it's a great exercise.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's so much more we could tell
We're
you
not
about managing holidays.
we're not
There's
enjoying
so
a
much.
technical experience right now.
Yes, exactly. that and that is also part of managing the holidays, it seems. But definitely we are here to support you. You can get in touch with us. The details are in the episode description. You can get in touch with Steve, you can get in touch with myself, and we work on different level of support. So you will have a variety of support between the two of us. Make sure you stay tuned, and we will see you for another episode in a week's time. Thank you so much, guys, and see you soon.
Take care. See you soon, everybody.